Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week we are checking out an oldie from 1991, Hudson Hawk, starring one of my favorite actors, Bruce Willis. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy.
No, you still needed one to get in.
Rough. How are you, Josh? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Yep.
This is the first non-alcoholic episode we've had for a while.
A while, yeah. Well, the night's still young.
Unless you snuck a few shots in there.
There was one time, because I have a soda. Stopped at Wendy's and got a soda. And it's giant.
Yes.
I did not order a giant one. I ordered a medium, but apparently this is a medium. It's about the size of my arm.
Yeah, that's almost too much.
It probably will be too much. But it's definitely like an hour and a half long drink, not like you would finish it with your meal. Like you just kind of sip it for an hour and a half.
Let's put some shots in there.
Yeah, but we tend to always have a drink with our podcast, and that's really the only time I drink during the week. And I remember there was one time I came over and we had just gone to like supper or something. I had a leftover pop from the supper. And I was like, well, and we should get a drink for it. And I was like, but I still have pop. So I'll go put some rum in the pop. And so I have this like a fountain pop with the straw and the lid and stuff. And I open it up and I'm pouring rum into it. And then I look over and your roommate's just kind of watching me. And I'm like, this is the most alcoholic thing I've ever done.
And like no one would know. Everyone would be like, oh, he's just drinking a soda.
Yeah. A soda.
A soda. Do you normally call it soda?
No.
Okay.
It's in Canada, it's called pop.
Yeah. It should be called pop everywhere.
I think
bunch of nerds.
In the States, they call it soda. Anyway, how are you doing? Did I already ask you that?
I have no idea. But
Answer again.
I just came from work, so I'm kind of tired, but functioning. Reasonably functioning.
Fair enough. Victor, do you mind if I get some complaints off my chest? These are some Facebook complaints.
Okay. Go for it.
I saw this a little while ago. Someone on Facebook, something came up and they wanted someone to look after their dog. And they just said, can anyone look after my dog for this weekend or whatever?
That's a strange ask on Facebook.
Yeah, but I feel like the person who usually does it like maybe fell through or something. And so it was just kind of like a desperate, like, can anyone do this, please? But anyway, all of the comments were like, no, like, no, I can't do it. But no, I don't want to. Like, it's just like message after message of people just being like, no, thanks. And it's like, he's not sending it to you personally. Like,
imagine him just getting like a bunch of notifications. Someone's going to say yes.
No, just a bunch of people who just think
they need to answer.
Yeah. So that's one complaint, Victor. I've got a few others.
Oh, okay.
I've been saving up my Facebook complaints just for you. Okay. So this one is I call it, this post is a little late.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at the point in my life where lots of people are getting married and having babies and stuff. And a common thing for mothers to do is to post photos of their baby at like 1 month old, 2 month old, 3 month old, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, when they post them, like maybe it's a few days late and they go, I'm sorry, it's a few days late, but here's my 1 month old. And then they have their regular spiel. And it's like, no one was keeping track. No one on the actual day was like, yo, where is your 1 month old picture? I've been waiting.
He's 34 days old now. It doesn't count anymore. Get that shit together.
Like, honestly, if they had not written, sorry, it's a little late, would not have known. Like, I don't have these kids' birthdays memorized. Like, even if it was like my niece or nephew, I wouldn't be like, wait a minute. They were born on the 13th, not the 16th. No one is doing that.
Just call them out on it.
I really hate too with those, like when the mothers go on and on about it and it has like the see more thing on the post. Like, it's, again, no one cares about your baby as much as you do. I get it. You're excited, but you don't have to write an essay. Just, you don't have to make the post at all. but B, if you're going to make the post, like just do like 2 sentences. You don't need to tell me all of their activities.
You ever get that oh boy feeling when you click see more and the picture disappears?
Or like it's like the see more and then there's there's an extra see more at the end.
Do they do that?
Yeah, some of them do that.
Holy shit.
Where it's been so long that it's like just a...
Even Facebook's like, are you sure? You sure you want to show that much?
You're going to have to scroll. Like, this is how long it is.
Scroll?
Scroll.
Scroll?
Scroll. I will kill you.
Just you try.
I will go to jail for this.
Imagine during the sentence. So, can you give a reasoning to why you murdered Victor? He said I was saying scroll wrong. I'm sorry, what? Are you saying scroll or scroll?
I'll kill you. Do you want to know my last one? My last Facebook complaint, Victor? So I don't know if people actually know this is a thing or not, but have you ever seen those posts where it's like, it's some sort of post where it makes fun of a celebrity and then it shows the reply of the celebrity underneath being like, yo, WTF. Those are fake. Like Dwayne Johnson does not have enough time in his day to like, when he gets mentioned and in some random insult to be like, what the heck, man? Like, I just don't understand like the thought of like, so I wrote this, the funny thing, and the celebrity noticed. So I just wanted to share with everybody. Who cares? Like,
I can't say I've ever seen that. Actually.
You haven't seen that? I've seen like 4 or 5. It'd be like a post like, man, this is as bad as Courtney Cox's cooking. And then it's just like Courtney Cox being like, what did I do to you? It's just like, she does not have the time. Like, it's just, yeah, it's dumb stuff like that where you're just like, who cares? Like, why are you wasting your time?
You remember when you asked James Gunn a question and he answered?
That's different because I was asking him a question and I wanted an answer. I'm not like insulting him and then pretending that he replied to it. I also didn't brag about it until like 3 years later. Can't believe you remembered that, Victor.
Of course. It's only been like 3 weeks. I had perfect memory.
Victor, there's some DC news. You want to talk about DC?
I mean, I honestly don't, but let's do it. Let's do it.
So apparently the Flash movie's still happening.
When?
Production is supposed to start in November.
Oh, that's a lot sooner than I was expecting.
Yeah. And apparently Ezra Miller is rewriting the script, which is always a good sign when the actor is rewriting the script.
Huh. Has he done any writing before?
I don't know.
Huh.
He's a really I get the impression he's a very dark young man. You know what I mean? I don't know where I'm going with this. It doesn't sound like a good idea. Cyborg movie is canceled, Victor.
What? That would have been the cool one.
Oh, really?
I was looking forward to it. Not that I knew when it was coming out, but
I do like the character of Cyborg, but I didn't really like the Justice League Cyborg.
I liked how he was portrayed, but I don't like how they used him. So I kind of agree.
It looks like Ray Fisher is not returning as Cyborg ever.
Really?
So I don't know if that means if they're going to still use Cyborg and he's not going to be cast as him, or if it's just they're done using Cyborg altogether. But do you want to hear about some of the Batman news? This might not be true. It could be all rumor. Mm-hmm. We'll find out when it comes out. So apparently it might be set in the 1990s. Penguin would be the main villain.
Okay, I'm down.
With multiple other villains are in it. I don't know the extent of whether they're henchmen or whether they're just like for one scene or whether they're just cameos or whatever. But apparently there's multiple other villains who are going to be in it. None of them named so far. And Batman is going to use his detective skills to solve the crime.
Not just murder people?
No.
This is before his murder fate. Did you play the Arkham games? All of them?
Victor, what kind of sick question is that? Of course I did.
Does it feel like they're drawing from that a little bit?
Probably.
I'm trying to think. What was it? Arkham Knight? No, not Arkham Knight. Arkham Origins, where he's basically fighting against 6 villains at night.
I honestly think it's probably more like the Arkham Asylum comic, where he like goes to Arkham to deal with Joker, I think it is in the book, and like each issue is him dealing with another villain, like in a different room. So maybe it's like that, maybe it's not. Who's to say? But I like the idea that Batman's a detective first.
I'm the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, that's exactly who he is, and we've never seen that. Like think about all the movies. The only time he ever does some detective work is in The Dark Knight when he shoots that bullet into the brick to get a fingerprint off of a shattered bullet. You remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably not the only time, but that's the only time I remember. So that's what it is.
If I don't know, they've definitely shown it a bit, but like they've never highlighted it.
No, and it's never like at the end he goes, so it was Penguin who did it. He just shows up and beats up Penguin. And he's like, you did it, didn't you?
Beats him first, questions after.
Yeah, exactly. And then he rips off his mask like it's made of fruit roll up. Do you remember that scene in Batman Returns at the end when
he pulls that rubber mask off?
He just tears it, like bulletproof suit. He just tears it right off. Oh, and by the way, all of a sudden his eye makeup is gone.
It goes with the mask. You can't have the makeup without the mask.
Off of his eyes as he goes.
Isn't that how makeup works?
And then Christopher Walken's like, Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up as Batman?
So that's what happens when you have the greatest detective with a bunch of like plebs.
Yeah. So that's all I know about the Batman. What I've read anyway.
When's it supposed to come out?
The future.
Are you kidding me? Flash has a release date before Batman?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Flash was announced before Justice League came out.
No, right.
It's had like 8 directors or something like that.
Yes, it's coming back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good sign. I'm glad.
Finally, in DC news, Wonder Woman 1984 is apparently only to be loosely a sequel to Wonder Woman. So more in the vein of like an Indiana Jones sequel or a
like
007.
Like another adventure?
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
So it's not like it'll be building on her arc from the first one or anything like that. I mean, I'm speculating now at this point of what that actually means, but
yeah,
that's what they're comparing it to.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's never bothered me.
Yeah.
I mean, Captain America Winter Soldier is kind of like that. If you compare it to the first one, it's not really a direct sequel. It's
yes and no. I mean, like he is dealing with like living in the modern world, but it's not what you would think of him being like, whoa, what's this internet? It's crazy. He's also played by Christopher Walken. It's more like, oh, the world's got pretty gray. But that's why The Winter Soldier is one of the best action movies ever made. Don't at me.
Okay.
Or do at me. I would defend that statement.
More so than like Mission Impossible? Fallout?
Maybe.
That is a pretty high standard you've held it to.
I said one of. I didn't say the.
I heard the.
There's some wiggle room there.
Nope.
Anyway, that's it for DC news. The Christopher Nolan movie that's coming out in a few years, Victor. I don't know anything about it. Do you? I'm just asking.
I didn't remember he was making one. What movie is this?
No, I don't know anything about it. Except there's been some actors cast in it. So they got Robert Pattinson.
Okay. I'm curious to see his performance in that.
Mm-hmm. And then you got John David Washington, who was recently just had a big hit in Black Klansman. He's also Denzel's son.
Oh, okay. I was like, the name sounds familiar. I can't put it.
Okay. The last one was Elizabeth Debicki. We probably don't recognize the name, but she was the gold lady from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen her in something else, though, haven't I?
I'm sure she's done some acting in other places. I don't know whether you've seen them or not.
All right. Fair enough.
I don't think I've seen her in anything else, but she's fine.
Sure.
Guardians. Yeah. If Christopher Nolan cast her, you must see something in her.
The gold skin.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, for sure.
Victor, I got some Spider-Man universe news for you, and it's all kind of okay. So this is all just kind of like Sony news in general. It's not really spoilers for movies or anything like that, so you can still listen even if you care about spoilers. So anyway, do you know who Amy Pascal is?
Isn't she one of the big heads at Sony? In charge of the...
Yeah, she has a fairly big head.
Yeah.
She's still on board to stay the course with co-developing movies with Marvel Studios. And then she's also prepared to go crazy with the spin-offs on the animated content.
Oh, okay. I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah, I think it's also like the Venom universe as well. By the way, they're calling that the Sony universe of Marvel characters. So it's Sumik or Sumsy. Sumsy sounds fun. I'm going to call it that.
So they're keeping Venom and Spider-Man separate.
For now, according to just that little blurb, I think there might be more. Let's read on together. Sony executives want Spider-Man in the Sumsy, but there's a catch. The initial 5 to 6 movie contract that Sony and Marvel came up with included a stipulation stating that only Marvel Studios could use Spider-Man in live-action productions for as long as the contract was in effect.
Mm-hmm.
They can't put Spider-Man into the setting until the contract expires or is renegotiated. The latter seems more likely.
I don't know. I just like Venom wasn't exactly like a great movie.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't that the first episode we did?
That is the first episode we did.
Yeah. So if you're interested in what we thought about the movie, you can go check that out. But like, I don't know, it just wasn't fantastic. So I don't see how they're doing an entire Sony-based universe off that. Oh, that's stupid.
I don't know.
That's going to be
confusing.
confusing.
You know what? It may mention this later on in this little article. So
you're still going. Go on.
I got a bunch more.
Proceed.
Buckle up. We're in for the long haul. Sony are open to offering a lot more of the Spider-Man setting to Disney in exchange for some things in return, such as permission to develop a Spider-Verse television series and the right to get Spider-Man in their Sumsy. So there you go, right there. What that might mean for Marvel Studios is not fully specified. They could have their own versions of characters that Sony are using as the leads in their own Sumsy franchise. So that doesn't mean you can't see a Venom in the MCU.
Okay. It's just we'll have two versions of Spider-Man, two versions of Venom if they do.
Yeah, or, Morbius if they want to pull the trigger on that hot property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're just going to have Spider-Man show up in these other movies, but not actually have him star in it?
I guess so.
So we're gonna follow like Morbius.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be doing his thing, and then all of a sudden Spider-Man comes in and kicks his ass. That's the end of the movie.
Oh, wouldn't that be swell? Just no introduction. He just shows up at the end.
Just pure.
It's curtains for you, Morbius. He's like, what? Seriously, who the heck are you?
Beats the crap out of him, and then spends the third act is just him in jail trying not to like murder other prisoners. Every movie ends with the main character going to jail. You know what? That'd be kind of neat as a joke, but not as like a serious series of movies.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm curious because I'm guessing Sony has no other properties they can use to make money.
Well, I also have some Marvel Studios rumors for the movies coming out next year, maybe, or in the future.
Oh yeah, we don't have any release dates or any announcements yet.
No, but the thought is that probably Eternals and Black Widow will be next year, and probably Shang-Chi following closely behind.
Okay.
You all right, Victor?
I just don't understand Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I don't.
You were pretty excited about it a few weeks ago when we talked about it.
Yeah, but now I'm just like, I want characters I recognize.
Okay, so for Eternals, Victor, here's some. I don't know where this comes from. I think it's from like a visual effects previs test that they showed investors or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All of this could be made up completely. So take it with a grain of salt, big guy. There was a leaked synopsis apparently, and apparently that is mostly wrong. Do you remember it? Because forget it, because it's mostly wrong.
Oh, good.
The movie isn't set millions of years ago. Only the opening love story between Icarus and Circe is the main
I remember
plot,
you saying this now.
but not the crux of the film. There's rumor that they're looking for the first openly gay leads in a superhero film.
Sure, fine.
I think we talked about that. I
Yeah.
can't remember. Karen, Piper, Icarus, Makari, Circe, Star Fox, Athena, Zurus, and Hercules are the leads.
Star Fox, you say?
They're going for some kind of sexy vibe like Greek paintings, so expect a hyper gorgeous cast.
Oh, okay. I'm curious.
Luke Evans is rumored for Hercules,
Makes sense.
and Millie Bobby Brown is rumored for Sprite / Piper, which apparently are the same character.
I have no idea who these characters are.
Yeah,
so.
neither do I. So it's just like, okay, Millie Bobby Brown. That's the weird thing, though, for me, is like casting like a 15-year-old on a character is like immortal. You know what I mean? Like, is she supposed to be a teenager forever? Kind of throwing the dice on like whether Millie Bobby Brown's going to look 15 for the next 10 years.
We're just gonna recast her for each movie.
That's a good point. You could do that. Entire Greek pantheon will be alluded to, but may not be cast in this movie. Druig is the main villain. Karen leads the team, but is not the lead of the movie. Who the heck is Karen?
Yeah, it's a very like plain name tossed in with like Hercules and Piper.
Yeah.
Sprite.
And Karen. Main story is set thousands of years ago. The Celestials, we get fleshed out a lot in this movie. We see the universe while they ruled it. Action is set entirely in the past to allow for greater power sets and sense of scale than any other MCU movie so far. So probably like world destroying people. And
See, I don't know. Like I see why they want to do that, but then if they take that into the future or the present, then they're just gonna feel so out of place. You're gonna have a bunch of Supermans running around.
yeah, and I was kind of thinking about that too, and I was like, what if they just do this movie and that's it, or they do like 3 Eternals movies, but they never connect them to.
And you just find out they just carry on somewhere else. You
Yeah,
leave.
like I kind of would be fine with that.
I don't know. Like I like the idea of having a bunch of movies that aren't like that are in the MCU, but they're not necessarily connected. Like
Yeah,
you could just have a cluster of movies that take place, 2099
Mhm.
or in the past, or even in like the Savage Lands. That'd be kind of cool.
Mm,
But then that's it. That's the arc of the movies, and then that's it. They're done.
okay. We meet Odin at the age of Thor is now in this film.
You think they're just gonna use a bunch of de-aging software on him?
I don't think they can get Anthony Hopkins back again. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Shows the same brash arrogance will be a major role in the film.
Curious.
Titan is visited in the film, so that's Thanos' home planet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
Was described multiple times as an epic compared to like Homer's Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
The word awe-inspiring was used many times in relation to the action scenes, powers that can change the course of planets. Most multicultural and inclusive MCU film yet.
Okay.
Okay, so here's some quick points about Shang-Chi, Victor. They won't be as much as Eternals. Movie is much more effects heavy than you'd think. I don't know what you were thinking, but it's much more than that. Wait, what were you thinking?
I was thinking like Into the Spider-Verse.
It's much more than that. Lots of slow-mo fast motion. Think 300.
Oh, that's cool.
Think 70s Kung Fu meets The Matrix. Which isn't
So
that
it's
just The Matrix?
That's just The Matrix.
Hip-hop influenced. Movie will run the gamut of all the best martial artists in the MCU.
Wait, isn't Shang-Chi in the comics? Isn't he wasn't he modeled after Bruce Lee or something?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm vaguely remembering what he looks like.
Yeah, and he was modeled after Bruce Lee, and I think he was the son of Fu Manchu, which is a deeply racist character.
I do not take offense.
Yeah, so that's the one that kind of perks my ears up a little bit. All the best martial artists in the MCU. So you could maybe get like, I don't know, like a White Tiger or Iron Fist.
Ooh, like a proper Iron Fist?
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Maybe there'll be a tournament of some sort.
Think like Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be kind of cool. All right, you know what? You want me back with Shang-Chi.
Super Saiyan Man would be there.
Just in the background.
What was the guy's name? Hercule?
Hercule, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, look at that. May center around a tournament.
Nice.
To be fair, I have read this before. It was a while ago, but I did. Baron Mordo will be a featured side character. So from Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about him at the end of the first movie.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for him to show up again.
Just crippling people left and right.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Okay, finally, Black Widow. There's going to be minimal CG in this. There's a huge car chase planned.
Snap.
Giant set piece revolving around a Zeppelin.
Oh, like the giant air balloon?
Yeah, like a blimp, which is like not something that hasn't been around since like the 40s, right?
Yeah.
When did the Hindenburg happen?
I don't know, but I think once we got airplanes, people are like, why would I go travel places at
Well, we had both at a time, but it wasn't until the Hindenburg blew up that they were like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be doing, balloons full of flammable air.
There's an Archer episode on this.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that kind of makes me pause because it's like, when does this take place? There will be a couple mechs/robots, but they want to go mostly practical. The designs they showed were very cool.
That's not helpful at all.
No indication the Winter Soldier would be in the film at all.
Oh.
It's supposed to be sexy and edgy, though.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I like edges. They want action that shows strong women, less flippy fights, more direct martial arts.
But that's like 90% of the widows. Like,
I know.
That's all we've seen from her.
Was she the one who started the whole like using the Mucho Libre like wrapping the legs around the head and flipping people.
Yeah, and the first time I've seen it, that was Iron Man 2. And then that started showing up in more.
Yeah, because that's like everywhere now. It's like every female character does that. So
Yeah.
way to go with the trend setting.
Yeah. How much do you have left of that thing?
Probably half. Something like that. Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Well,
can you tell I'm on a little bit of a sugar high? Well, Victor, we watched a movie this week.
Yeah, an old one.
An old one, yeah, a retro movie. This was a movie, it's Hudson Hawk, by the way, in case you didn't read the title of the podcast you clicked on. But this movie, when I was a kid, my parents worked for a camping program. And so a lot of the times we were dragged along and we were always driving to different campgrounds and stuff like that. And so I think, honestly, just to keep us quiet and not fighting in the back of the car, my dad bought a TV with a VCR connected to it, a little tiny TV that you could plug into your car. Mm-hmm. And so we would watch movies in the back of our van while we were driving to places. And for whatever reason, Hudson Hawk was one of the movies that always made it to every trip we were on.
Your dad regretted that decision the moment he saw that the next year. Again? Kidding me?
No more Hudson Hawk. So we watched this movie a lot as kids. And recently we rewatched it for this review, and boy, Victor,
oh boy,
is it dumb.
I was expecting to be kind of goofy, but yeah, it definitely it's kind of stupid, but like in a fantastic way.
So just quickly, the plot of this movie is that Bruce Willis plays the world's greatest cat burglar named Hudson Hawk, and he gets pulled into this scheme to steal 3 different Leonardo da Vinci artifacts that have pieces of crystal in them that are going to power a machine that changes lead into gold. Mm-hmm. Hijinks ensue.
Yeah. It's a really weird movie for me because I've only known Bruce Willis through like Die Hard movies. Mm-hmm. And the extent of his acting is Die Hard movies.
Yeah.
So seeing him in this, laughing, singing, acting, it's kind of strange. It was really weird to see, but like I'm very happy I saw that.
Okay, well. By the way, this movie is Bruce Willis's passion project. He had been trying to make this movie for like years and years before this was made.
Huh.
And so he and the co-writer of it, Robert Kraft, this is how they met. Robert Kraft is a musician who's in a bar playing a paid gig. And all of a sudden he just hears someone from the audience just joining him on harmonica. And that's Bruce Willis.
Okay.
And this is not this is when Bruce Willis was a struggling actor. This is before moonlighting. He's also working as a bartender. So by the way, that's a dick move. Like musicians playing, you just decide that you're just as good as them and start playing along. I mean, so anyway, they met because he was like, who the heck is playing while I'm playing? And then they got talking, and Bruce Willis was a big fan of this guy, apparently, and he has a song called The Hudson Hawk. And so Robert Kraft invited him to write lyrics for it. And as they wrote lyrics together, they kind of formed this movie and said, hey, if any one of us is ever in a position to write a movie or make a movie, let's make this movie. And, then lo and behold, in 1991 or 2, I can't remember when this movie came out, this happened. And boy, did it need a second draft.
You kidding me? No, it was perfect.
You thought it was perfect?
That was perfect.
It's a weird movie.
It reminds me of like Scooby-Doo a little bit.
Well, okay, because that's the thing. That's for me is one of the reasons why this movie doesn't work, is because it starts off kind of serious. There's some funny lines here and there, but by the end of it, there's literally Looney Tune sounds while people are being hit.
They're warming the audience up.
Ridiculous. Yeah, they're just all over the place with outlandish things happening. And at the same time, they're like, take this seriously. Then it's like punches a guy and it's like,
you know what kind of threw me off the entire movie, though?
What's that?
Bruce Willis has 4 earrings on one ear or something like that.
Yeah.
A large amount of earrings on one ear. Every time he like turned to that side of his head, that's all I stared at.
He also had very high pants. He was like at John Bernthal levels, high pants. Like there's a point in it where he has his shirt off, but he's still wearing his pants. You cannot see his belly button.
No. Maybe that was a style back then. Wait,
Well, it absolutely was, but
no belly buttons. That's just disgraceful.
what was that?
I don't know. That's how they talked back then, right?
Yeah, in the 90s. This movie starts with a prologue.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So it starts off back in the when Leonardo da Vinci was working on his stuff. We go into his workshop, and so he has been hired to make this giant horse for some rich person, but then a war breaks out and he can't make it out of bronze like he originally planned because he can no longer get his hands on bronze. So he, instead of giving up the project, or just goes to the rich person and says, hey, can we make it out of something other than bronze? He decides to make a machine that changes lead into bronze.
Is that called alchemy?
I think that is alchemy, yeah.
Nice.
He turns on the machine, and lo and behold, it actually doesn't change lead into bronze. It changes lead into gold. So then he's like, this will change the world. I'm going to destroy the crystal, break it up into 3 parts, and hide them into my art pieces.
Wouldn't it make more sense just to break them?
Well, yeah, because he never uses it, right? Like,
No.
why did he hide them? In case of emergencies? Wasn't he part of the Illuminati?
Oh, he is the Illuminati.
Oh, okay.
Mm, they
Oh, right, because it's called the Da Vinci Code. So maybe that's why. He was like, for my Illuminati friends, if they follow the clues, they can find them.
Still, just a strange decision either way.
Yeah, so he broke them up. He put them in three different ones of his art, assuming that they were going to be kept for all time.
Yeah, no one's going to just...
Yeah. But
yeah, one of them was weird. One of them was like a book.
Yeah, with all of his drawings in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how thick your back covers are, but not thick enough to hold a freaking stone or crystal.
No, and then the other one was a model of his helicopter.
Machine? Yeah.
And that was hidden in the bottom of that one. And it was just like, yeah, the crystals shouldn't have fit in that.
I chose not to bring that up during the movie. But
so anyway, Bruce Willis plays the world's greatest cat burglar, who's just getting out of prison.
Because he's the world's greatest cat burglar.
Yeah, why is he in prison?
I don't know.
Because everybody's got to do time at some point.
Yeah. I didn't want to mention that either during the movie.
By the way, yeah, because he's not the world's greatest cat burglar. I think there's 2 or 3 heists in this movie. Every single one of them ends with the guards chasing him out of the building.
Mm-hmm. And both times recognizing who it was.
Yeah.
He's rusty. It's been 10 years.
He doesn't wear gloves or anything. He's putting his hands on everything.
It was the 90s, Josh. They don't have DNA back then.
Well, it would be fingerprint analysis, and they absolutely did.
No, they didn't.
At that point.
No, they didn't.
I don't think they would have a database because they wouldn't have a internet. They would be able to cross-reference anyway. He doesn't wear gloves. So anyway, yeah, world greatest cat burglar. Anyway, okay. So he gets out of jail, and immediately his parole officer, who's there to pick him up inexplicably, because that's how that works.
100%.
He immediately goes, hey, I got this sweet job for you. We need you to rob this auction house and steal this Da Vinci horse, this little model of a horse. And it's like he's literally still in front of the guards, and he's just like, hey, if you don't want to do your parole, like you don't want to do your community service, go steal this thing for me. She's like, officer, like, oh my goodness.
What a strange pitch by a parole officer, eh? Hey,
yeah,
I know you just got out, but you want to do the thing that got you in here in the first place immediately?
Like he hasn't even stepped out of the prison yet, and he's already being offered a job. Oh, anyway. And by the way, the whole thing with the parole officer is just the tip of like how complicated the plot is, and it is overly complicated. Okay, let me just do a breakdown for you. By the way, spoilers for this movie. So his parole officer is working for the Mario Brothers crime family, who are working for the Mayflowers, who are the real villains of the movie, who want the crystals to disrupt the stock market so they can make a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
The CIA is involved, a crack group called the Candy Bars, who are working with the Mayflowers, but secretly they're not going to. It's a sting operation. They're going to set them up and arrest them. But twist, they're actually working with the Mayflowers. Plus, Eddie's partner, Tommy, is also working for the Mayflowers, but he's regretting working for them. So he sets up a sting to fake his own death so that Eddie and him can escape working for the Mayflowers. And then meanwhile, the Vatican is also in on it, and they're working with the CIA, who, unbeknownst to them, is working with the Mayflowers. See what I mean? You see how complicated this is? There's literally a point in it where Bruce Willis meets Darwin Mayflower, and he's just like, you know what? For some reason, there was a bunch of buffers between you and I, but screw it. I'm the villain. Nice to meet you. Like,
does he actually say I'm the villain?
Yes.
What the dick?
Anyway.
Yeah, I lost track of who people were about like a quarter of the way into this movie.
Yeah.
Because at one point the parole officer gets shot.
He gets his neck slit by a butler who works for the Mayflowers.
Right. Yeah. At that point I was like, was that the parole officer?
Mm-hmm.
Or was he this guy? Or was he this guy?
I don't know. There's lots of bad editing in this movie. Bad editing and bad directing, basically.
Who directed this movie? Do you know?
I don't know. Tell me who actually did.
Guess what it has for a score on Rotten Tomatoes?
22%.
Oh, close. 26. Director Michael Lehmann. Lehmann.
Sure. Basically, the director, in my opinion, doesn't know how to tell a joke, because there's lots of like funny stuff happening in the movie, but a lot of the times it's like it's not as effective as it could be because it's done in a wide shot where like you're not concentrating on the joke, or you know what I mean? Like there's a scene where it's like Bruce Willis is like tied to a chair, and a dog comes and starts like chewing on his crotch. Mm-hmm. That's so weird out of context to say.
Yes, it does.
and then someone like goes like, Bunny, get out of here. And he's just like, oh, Bunny, you weren't that bad. Like, and he starts cracking jokes. And then he literally turns to the camera and goes, but seriously. And then continues like talking with them. Whereas it should be, he says the kooky line, you cut to someone reacting to it, and then you cut back to him going, but seriously. But I don't know. That's a little inside baseball with film editing, but there's so many moments where jokes fall flat because they just didn't let them breathe, because it's just people nattering and saying things over each other. It's very like
fast paced.
Yeah. It's annoying.
So did you like this movie?
You know, it's hard to tell.
Because when was the last time you saw it?
Probably like 72 hours ago. No. No, before that, though, before we watched it again for the review, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more, probably a decade. I've watched it again as an adult, but like we watched it a lot as kids. And I think that's part of it is like there's a nostalgia there.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I'm just like, this is a terrible movie. But I kind of like it because I loved it as a kid.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Why did you enjoy it? I've been talking a lot. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. There's a lot of history there, a lot of information that I would not have been able to pitch myself.
All right, go ahead. Tell me what you liked.
It was really goofy. Like I liked seeing Bruce Willis in this role. I like seeing him kind of out of his current state of acting.
Yeah, tired and apathetic.
Yeah, actually wanting to be there.
Yeah,
showing emotion. Yeah,
yeah.
Aside from anger, anger and annoyance. No, it was really cool. Like I don't know. Like I like heist movies. I like little, like small scale movies where, I mean, I guess there's a point it's like world ending, but I don't know. Like it reminds me of like Scooby-Doo a little bit. It's got a bit of Indiana Jones feel for me.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
And yeah, I don't know. I liked all the characters, especially the crap. What's the CIA? Those weird guys with the chocolate bar names?
The candy bars.
God damn it. Come.
You know what I will say, Victor? That is something I really do like about the movie. I don't know why. The candy bars are just, it's just a cool idea for a CIA team that they're all nicknamed candy bars, but like each one of them too are kind of, they're cliche, but they're also like, they're kind of interesting. You know what I mean? So there's Snickers, who is like the tech guy.
Yeah.
He has all the gadgets. And then they have Almond Joy, she's like an assassin. Like she has all like the different ways to kill you or whatever.
Yeah.
There's Butterfinger, who's this giant lummox of a man who, it baffles me how he ever got into the CIA.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't understand how he qualifies to be an agent.
There's even a part in this movie where he's just talking and someone goes, why don't you read your book? And so he starts reading his book, and it's Green Eggs and Ham. And he's reading it out loud, and they're like, my gosh, read it to yourself. To yourself. He's so dumb.
Can you imagine the interrogation scene with him? Like him being interrogated. He just tells everyone all the CIA secrets.
And then, and my favorite one is Kit Kat, who was played by CSI Miami's David Caruso.
I didn't notice until you mentioned it.
Yeah. And so he's like a master of disguise, but he also doesn't talk. Mm-hmm. And all of his lines are on little flashcards that he just hands people.
But like some of them, sometimes he hands them out and they're very situational. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they're typed out. They're not handwritten. They're typed out.
Well, yeah, he would have had a typewriter. Like, I'm sure like he knew he was going to say something. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm adding logic to this movie.
I'm trying to think one of them, because like one of them was like, I don't know. This wasn't the scene exactly, but like it'd be like someone slipped and then he had a little thing on the card, a little like joke on it about him slipping.
Yeah, that never happened, but I see your point.
But there was something like a situation like that.
There was one that said "Beware the blue wire," or whatever, and
yeah, there was another one. I think it was near the end.
He said, "I always liked you." That was his dying card.
Yeah, I think that
was the other thing I did. By the way, all the candy bars die in this movie, but when he dies, he gets shot and he falls over, and all of his cards just like fly out, or strewn across the floor. I really liked that. It was a nice little effect.
Imagine. Hey, Kit Kat, what do you think? He just goes shuffling through his cards. I had something for this.
I like it. Yeah, Butterfinger there's a line he says. They're sitting out in the car and they're spying on Bruce Willis and the love interest of the movie. Mm-hmm. Who I've forgotten her name. Is it Annie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're spying on them. They're up in the apartment or whatever. And it just cuts to the three of them sitting in a car and Butterfinger's like, "You want me to rape them?"
No, yeah. What the fuck?
It's like, what?
Like, even in 1991, like, I understand that's probably a joke.
I hope it's a joke.
I can't understand how that would have passed any kind of like writer's pass, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, and there's a part in later on. They're spying on Bruce Willis and Annie, and he's like, "I want French fries. It's France. There should be French fries." And they're like, "It's Italy." And then he immediately just goes, "To be in Paris and be in love." It's like, they literally just said it's Italy.
What did you think of the singing in this? Because they sang songs throughout like the heist, right?
Yeah, that was the other thing I thought was a cool idea. Mm-hmm. Was Bruce Willis's character, Eddie, I think that was his first name, right?
I think it was Hudson. Last name Hawk.
So Eddie, he doesn't carry a watch. And so he kind of estimates how long it'll take him to do a heist. And then he sings a song that is the same length as that time. And so for the first heist, they sing "Swinging on a Star" while he's robbing the auction house. Yeah. Which is a cool idea. I thought that was very cool.
I dig it.
But at the same time, in reality, you wouldn't want to be, if you're sneaking around a place, you don't want to be like, "Would you like to swing on a star?"
Oh no, he's going full blast.
I know, like he's not, I'm whispering, but he's like, "Would you like to swing on a star?" And
you imagine security guard, it's like, that's coming from the auction room.
Yeah. And again, he always gets caught at the end, like robbing the place. He has to run out.
To be fair, was it ever his fault?
I mean, it's not his fault, but like it is and it isn't.
Because the first one, it was his partner fucking up.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, because his partner rewinds the security footage.
Yeah.
And then earlier one of the guards broke a chair in a room, and then the security cameras have that chair fixed.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Whoa, what's going on there?" So there's that. But then the second heist is just like a guard walks in, and it's like, how do you not account for the guards? Like,
he's the world's greatest capper. He doesn't need to worry about the guards.
The beginning of the movie, again, because it has a bit more of a serious tone at the beginning because they haven't gone fully zany yet. Mm-hmm. But just the way that they're, again, maybe it's a writing thing, maybe it's the directing, but like Eddie's coming back into his life and they just kind of throw you into it, and they don't do like the movie thing where they introduce you to everything. Mm-hmm. It's very much like he's just coming out of prison and they're, you know what I mean? Like, It's like there's an intro missing where we were introduced to everything.
Yeah. Like, here's his life. Figure it out.
Yeah. Like Tommy just shows up and you're like, "Who is this guy?" And they have a rapport, and it's not till later. He's like, "Oh, so he's his partner and they're burglars together." And okay, gotcha. And like one of the jokes that doesn't land in the first little bit is Tommy and Eddie own a bar together, and I guess it's kind of like a sleazy bar.
Yeah.
That was just only the locals drank there.
Mm-hmm.
But when he shows up, it's now like this high class bar that like it's become too expensive for the locals to.
Yeah, so it's mainly like tourists and like
Yeah.
rich people.
Yeah. And then so they just kind of walk into that and it's like, what the heck happened? And it's like, yeah,
Starts pointing
is
out
this
things.
not
Yeah.
unusual? Like,
He starts pointing out things that are missing from the, like before.
yeah.
But I forgot what this the ongoing joke about him trying to get a cappuccino.
Oh yeah.
And every time before he takes a sip, it gets
Something
interrupted.
happens to it. Yeah.
Glass gets shot, machine breaks.
What did you think about that? Are you going to say you liked it or you didn't like it?
I liked it.
You liked it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really liked that. That was funny.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's actually in the synopsis too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That he can't get a cup of
All he,
cappuccino.
I think it's like he just got out of prison and all he wants is a cup of cappuccino.
Oh, okay. What did you think about Annie and the whole Vatican side plot?
Oh, that was weird. The fact that you know what to remind, because like throughout the movie, the Vatican communicates with her via like a statue of
Like a crucifix.
yeah,
Of like with Jesus on it.
yeah, and it lights up when they talk. It pulsates with the voice.
Yeah.
That reminded me of like Google, like our Google Home,
Oh, okay.
just always listening. I don't know where I was going with that, but like I thought that was funny.
Anyway, can we talk about Darwin and Minerva Mayflower?
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know who those are. Who was Darwin played by? He looked really familiar.
Richard E. Grant. So he was in Logan.
Uh-huh.
He was the bad guy in Logan. He was also in a movie called Withnail and I. He was just recently nominated for an Oscar for a movie he was in with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh.
He did not win.
I knew that.
Mahershala beat him again. Actually, that was the first time he's been nominated, I believe. Anyway, yeah, that's Richard E. Grant. And then Minerva was played by Sandra Berhard, I think. Anyway, but they are the bad guys, and they are, I wouldn't even say they're chewing on the scenery. I think they're just eating parts of the set, you know? Like they are really over the top.
I was saying, like, they kind of remind me of the villains from BioShock Infinite.
Okay. I never
it's
played
like
that.
it's a brother-sister pair.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they're over the top, but like visually, that's who they remind me of.
Oh, okay.
It's cool. It's a cool set of villains. I like it. I like that they're over the top. It fits the movie. It fits the humor.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they were missing was like a monocle and a cigar.
Yeah, their whole thing is that they want to start making gold because I think Darwin at one point says money will always be paper, but gold will always be gold.
Makes sense, I guess.
I really liked, there's a part in it where Minerva was like, markets will crash. Financial institutions will crumble, except for yours. I like that line.
I just remember her like, what was she doing on the piano? She was listening to music on the piano, like sitting on top of a piano.
It was a boardroom table that she was sitting on.
Was it?
Yeah, and she was just singing I Got the Power at the top of her lungs.
With no context to the music because she's wearing headphones.
Yeah.
I need to watch that movie again.
I liked, what was the other line I really liked? Is one of the last lines in the movie where Tommy Two-Tone, Five-Tone? I can't remember.
Two-Tone.
But
let's go Two-Tone.
He seemingly dies in a car accident shortly before the end of the movie. And right at the end, they've solved everything. They're all sitting at a cafe and Tommy shows up. And they're like, how are you still alive? And he's like, airbags. Can you believe it? And they're like, well, what about the explosion? He's like, sprinkler system in the car. Can you believe it? And my favorite line is Bruce Willis goes, yeah, that's probably what happened.
He's funny. You probably could tell like when they were writing that. He's like, I don't want you to die in this part.
Maybe they thought they were going to get a sequel and they're like, well, I want Tommy Aiello to come back.
I mean, it doesn't really stand out as like a weird thing in this movie.
No, by that point, like literally there's a scene earlier on where Bruce Willis is being kicked back and forth by the head of the candy bars. And he's literally like, you know, like leaning 90 degrees forward, 90 degrees backwards, 90 degrees forward, 90 degrees backward, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's, oh my gosh, it's so dumb. So dumb. But there's some good lines in this movie.
Imagine a sequel with present day Bruce Willis.
I wonder, because this movie is kind of critically panned, but it's kind of like a cult classic. I wonder how many people would be down for that if he did one. I think Tommy Aiello is dead, though.
No, that could be part of the movie.
Hmm?
Telling the funeral.
Oh, it just starts with Tommy Two-Tone's death?
Yeah.
Like it just starts with a funeral.
Mm-hmm. The old Hudson Hawk stealing back old Tommy's stuff.
Yeah. By the way, do you know how many times they jumped out of like a 2-story plus window and just lived?
I only remember 2.
There was like 4 or 5 times.
No, really? Well, the first one, it was like, I'd say it was probably like 10 stories tall.
Well, yeah, and they jumped into an awning or something like that.
Yeah, like the overhead for like the entrance of a hotel.
Yeah, and then later there was when they're pretending to fight each other and they like jump through the window of the Mayflower boardroom and they're like rolling down the stairs and then Tommy gets shot.
Yeah. It's ketchup. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Oh, when Snickers and Almond Joy paralyze them with the needle, like the darts.
Oh, yeah.
And then Snickers accidentally gets an explosive stuck to his head.
Mm-hmm.
Totally they jump out of that window as it blows up.
Oh, I forgot.
And that was like 2 stories up. Not to mention every time he runs from a heist, he's jumping from the top of a building.
Well, didn't you know? Explosions kind of break your fall a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you didn't like about this movie, Victor?
I was going to say, maybe the plot was really difficult to follow and like character wise, but like
it was.
I'm actually okay with that. I don't see that as a huge negative.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't see a big enough negative to complain about.
Oh, you know what I just thought of? We haven't talked about yet.
What?
Remember the scene where he wakes up in the ambulance and then the gurney gets pushed out the back of the ambulance?
Oh, I love that scene.
He's just on the freeway riding a gurney.
Mm-hmm. Cracks a few jokes to like drivers next to him.
Yeah, someone throws a cigarette out their window and he catches it midair, takes a puff and goes, "Oh, menthol." Throws it.
And at one point when a girl drives up to him, he's like, "Are you gonna die?" Is that what
Yeah, that's what it was. He goes through a toll booth, throws exact change into the toll.
And then after he goes through the toll booth, the ambulance that's chasing him busts through it.
Yeah.
And then he somehow manages to like just
survive.
Yeah, it's reasonable. He just controls it like a skateboard, just leaning side to side.
Yeah, that's how gurneys work, right?
That's exactly how it works. Probably.
Oh.
How about you? Anything you didn't like?
Oh, there's plenty. I think I've covered it quite extensively. With this kind of movie, you kind of just, at some point, you have to turn your brain off and be like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know. I've been crapping on this movie for like, I don't know how long, but I think I do kind of like it. There is a charm to it. I probably will watch it again some point in my life. It's not like one that you watch every year or anything like that. But
did you see the Tintin movie?
Yeah.
I would put it on the same level as that for me. Like it's
that
really
is a weird connection.
Well, it has a similar it's in a similar genre. It's kind of
guess so.
World traveling, mystery, bit goofy, but like I really like that movie. I wouldn't say I like Hudson Hawk as much, but like I get this. I kept thinking back to that movie too while we were watching this. So I don't know. Like it's fun to watch. It's entertaining. Again, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I talked a little bit about like some of my favorite lines in it, and there is a lot of funny lines in it. But again, it comes down to like the director doesn't focus on them, and so I think it's only until you get into like second or third viewings that you kind of hear some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm exhausted. I think I'm coming down from my sugar high.
Well, should we wrap it up there?
You have any final thoughts?
I'd recommend seeing this movie. I haven't seen it.
It is so weird.
Yeah, but don't go in expecting like
a good movie.
Expect it to be fun, but not great.
There are some, as I said, there's some interesting things in it. I like the candy bars. I liked the singing during the heist. I like how low key and improvisational he is with his heist, like how he uses items in the place to help him steal the thing he needs, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Also terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's kind of has its own charm, but it is so like, if you're not ready for it to get into slapstick territory, then
maybe not for you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, thanks again for listening, guys. This has been another episode of The Average Uninformed. Leave a comment in the comment section if you have anything to say, or if you want to get in touch with us directly, you can email us at averageuninformed@gmail.com. And we'll talk to you again next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.